is Ricky Ajobo and this is Market Digest Nigeria. Our topic today is on the past recession and how the past recession has affected Nigeria, and it's one of the best things to happen to Nigeria since the independence. So let's start by talking about mercantilism. Mercantilism can be called imperialism on steroids. The most powerful European country between 16th and 19th century adopted the mercantilist trade policy. This policy zoomed up the economy away from the outdated economy and the guild-craft production system. It helped push Europe from a landed-based economy to a monetary economy. Economist Adam Smith invented the term mercantile system. Its goal is to enrich and empower the nation and state to the maximum degree by empowering and retaining as much economic activities as possible within the nation's border. Under this policy, colonies send raw materials harvested by cheap labor to the mother country and are manufactured over there and sold back to us here in Nigeria at a higher profit. And also the economic efforts and products of the colony must supplement rather than compete with the economic efforts and products of the mother country. The British economy policy for Africa was founded on this policy during the colonial times, and sadly it is still in use today. Europeans makes less than 1% of the population but owns more than 80% of Nigerian economy. Almost 60 years after the fictitious independence declaration, Nigeria is still controlled by European expatriates, companies and banks. Therefore, the coal of Enugu, the tin of Jos, hides and skin of Hadija and Maduguri, cotton from Gusau, cocoa and oil palm from Ibadan and Benin were all catered to Europe. During the First and Second Republics, government officials were in the habit of collecting 10% for contract funds. Today, it is much worse. The First Republic witnessed a unprecedented level of venality by high-ranking politicians. Thus, prevailing culture of corruption was one of the reasons given by the armed forces when they sacked elected government in January 1966 and December 1983. Hence, forever destroying Nigeria's democratic foundations. Corruption in Nigeria became legitimized, especially during Babangida and Abacha's regimes. Oil was discovered in 1958 and has since the early 1970s dominated the economy. Today, Nigeria is the largest oil producer in the sub-Saharan Africa. The absence of a downstream sector and subsequent dependency on oil multinationals and their infrastructure fueled corruption became further in Africa in general and Nigeria. In particular, because banking institutions in Europe, especially Switzerland, France, New Jersey, Britain, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, Australia and US, among others, started accepting money from Nigerian leaders without questioning its source. The interest of the Western media portray Africa as poor, backward, least developed and corrupt without telling the world about the looted funds that are sitting in their banks. Corruption involves the giver and the receiver, but it's only the giver that is reported in the media. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund (IMF) were created in 1944 by leaders of the 44 nations at the Bretton Woods Conference during the end of the Second World War to rebuild the economies of Europe. The Babangida government, which came to power in August 1985 at a time of depressed oil prices, undertook the Structural Adjustment Program, which was originally meant to last for only 2 years, between 1986 and 1988. The government introduced second-tier foreign exchange market (SFEM), sold on auction by corrupt government officials, has put Nigeria in a dire situation. In line with the British mercantilist policy, Nigeria exports crude and pay heavily for it when it's refined. With the discovery of oil, the agricultural sector was neglected, leading to an impoverishment of the rural population. The contribution of agriculture as a percentage of GDP was 63% in 1960. It declined to 34% in 1988. not because the industrial sector increased its share but due to neglect of the agricultural sector. It was therefore not surprising that by 1975 the economy had become a net importer of basic food items. There was also the problem of the Dutch disease effect on mineral resource production. Resource boom simply means the oil we have, which caused the real exchange rate to rise due to large inflow of foreign exchange generated by oil exported, causing labor capital to shift from other productive sectors to oil. Under the SFEM, the naira depreciated 66% to 1 naira, which is equal to 64 cents, and declined further in value through July 1978, when the first and second tier was merged. When adopting the SFEM, Nigeria abolished the ex-factory price control set by the Prices, Productivity and Incomes Board, as well as the 30% import surge charge and import licensing system. It reduced its import prohibition list substantially and promoted exports through fiscal and credit incentives and by allowing those selling abroad to retain foreign currency. Although this action opened the way for an IMF agreement and debt scheduling, the military government declined to use an allocation of special drawing rights on the IMF standardized forms. Meanwhile, the naira continued depreciating, especially after the relaxation of fiscal policy early in 1988. The effect of the SFM is breaking bottlenecks, together with the slowing of food price increases, deepening inflation in 1968, and the easing of domestic restriction in 1988. Real interest rates were negative, and capital flights and speculative imports resumed. Thanks for watching, and join us same time next week for the concluding part of this topic. My name is Rukia Jobo.